So, stream is running. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you around. Let's just wait a second more. I'm just setting up a bit more and then we can start for today. Or for the second stream of today. Hey Hamish, welcome, or Amish, welcome back. I hope the sound is this time better. As you can see, I have my bottle back with my nice little microphone on it. Yep, I can put that also a bit higher. So, hey everyone, 7 people, nice to see you around. So let's see if I can have a good session today. Hey Muhammad, Gautam, nice to see you. So great. Okay. That's much better, right? I heard the sound of from the stream this morning and I was like, oh geez, that sounds horrible. And then the drilling with it was even worse. Yeah, the rocket is now here. I think that will be part of it till we have a correct one, and maybe a better microphone and everything. So it will take some time, I think. Okay. So what's the plan for the second session today? I would like to take a look because I think in Twitter someone asked me to create or have today I think it was, let me check if I find it right now. Where did I ask for the stream? Here. So I can share that with you. So let me switch right now. And as you can see here, yeah, right? The emoji is also there. So everywhere are emojis. So I got from Bachwat, I think. I got the ask for background services in Flutter. And notifications in Firebase is another topic that I will maybe take in the future. But I think background services sounds like a real big deal. And that could be something that we really would be interested in the future. So I thought, let's have a look into them. And for that, we have to know a bit more about the Flutter and Dart asynchronous work, right? Because background tasks has a special meaning. And what I want to do today is to learn it. That means whenever you feel a bit bored, I don't know it either. So I'm not an expert for background tasks or anything. I just want to learn it today. So it could be that you are maybe a bit bored or something. So if you have any ideas or if I missed anything or anything like that, please let me know. Okay, so what will be our main tool today is the browser, because we will search a lot, so we need Google. And on the other hand, I have created just, if we need one, a basic scaffold, nothing major, just the empty project at the end. And I think I will even delete all of that already, just to make it clear and empty. Have you added similar? Nah, not today. I was a bit, there was also a bit of other things that I needed to do today. So I was a bit blocked, but there will be more until the next stream, I hope. So maybe till Wednesday or to the Saturday, I can maybe add some more stuff. So what I will do is just creating a home screen. On that we will work today. So stateless widget. Cool. So could you please show random text? Random text? What do you mean with random text? If you need random text, I highly recommend you the website Lorem Ipsum, because it creates you text that is really random, and you have the benefit from that you can get these parts and you can put them in your application, and it creates you paragraphs, words, and all of that stuff. Pretty good. Hey Amar, I was fast forwarding. So I need to start Firefox again because I closed it. Okay. So how do we start if we search something like background tasks? With each app open, text will change according to set string values. It was not the plan, but it should be pretty easy, to be honest. You could do it in the init state that you just create something. So if you have, for example, the stateless widget here, but you want it on, that's right, Amish. But for Android user, you could just do that in your main app, right? So when this one is created, or in the main function, you create a random string here, like string random. And what I will do now is just taking a random number. Next int, for example, 500 to string. And this is of course a string, right? That's getting generated all the time. You can do that also in an init state or somewhere else. And then you just pass it down into your app. That's it. So whatever happens in the main function happens before your app starts. So that should be pretty easy. Okay, but back to our background tasks. If we search for Flutter background tasks, I was there already today. That is the flutter.dev package. And we don't get so much, to be honest. I was a bit surprised how less documented it is. Because what here is that they talk about that we need something like an isolate, or better, we will need an isolate that we can use with the Flutter compute, is it, I think? So yeah, parse JSON in background is maybe the better one. And there we find some interesting stuff. But is here to talk about an isolate? Yes, move this work to a separate isolate. So as you can see, we get the function from Flutter already that calls compute, and it will do stuff in this background tasks. Are you giving to show something with Hive in the future? Hive? What is Hive? Let's see. No, not yet. Hive looks like a database or something, or yeah, NoSQL database. Not at the moment, not planned. So can the background task be used for push notification? Yes, something like that. I think background processes can be used for all certain stuff. So this is everything that is not in your active application at the moment. So if you have an emulator open, you see your application and you make that small, then still your app is running, right? And you want to have a background task that is all the time doing something. So for example, a timer or a counter, or I think I started with the idea of a pedo tracker to check when you walk, and then every step that you take, you get the information to your phone, to your background process, which then reads the information and displays that at the end or something like that. So this would be a typical use case from, can we use alarm without using native code? That is a task for pub.dev. If you want to do something like that, then we have the alarm. And you find Android alarm, and I'm pretty sure there will be also somewhere an iOS alarm, I could imagine. Hey Stefan, hey Islam, hey everyone. Yeah, so I think, is that with, I don't know if this is, well, you have to make the receivers, that makes sense of course, but everything else is also in an isolate. Oh, very interesting. It's also working with isolates. Cool. So yes, so they work with isolates, and I was very interested that the documentation for this whole topic is pretty much very small, yeah? Because I know that Dart is single-threaded actually, and isolates are like own complete instances of the Dart VM. So it runs in parallel besides of each other. I can also do more in-app purchases. Maybe I will take a look in that next time. And then you will set up your isolates for background execution. And I think I can do that even better with the in-app purchases. What we could do is for my, I have at the moment an Android app that is in beta. Maybe we can do something for that. Then we can work also in a real world example of an application that I developed the first time in my life. So with Flutter. So don't expect perfect code, but we can work with that. Okay, but the documentation is pretty slim. But what we see is everything is telling us that we should use an isolate. And isolate is a model for Dart that to make multi-threading possible. Because it is not like in Java or C++ where we just C# where we just say, okay, hey, I want to have a new thread and let's go. We have really always these isolates, and an isolate is really a encapsulated part of Dart that is running in its own, with its own memory allocation, with its own instance and everything. The disadvantage of that is we can't do everything so very easily to run more or less in parallel, because we get, of course, like limitation in memory location and so on. But the benefit is that even though that it is a single threaded technology, it will get the possibility to have multiple threads. Work of developer is to convert slim to fat. Okay, if you say so. Cool. And now here in that part, they explain us that they don't create more documentation, but there is a Medium article about how you can execute Dart in the background for geofencing. And I started to read all of that, and I was a bit confused and a bit, it was a bit hard to read because all of these geofencing, and of course I understand it somehow. Geofencing is a cool topic, but to run something in background, it doesn't really tells you how to do it, because actually this shouldn't be too hard, right? I like the idea how they explain this part here. So we have the Dart isolate, we have the background isolate, and the Dart UI isolate is talking with something in between, and then the background isolate is getting triggered by that. And that was something that I really liked, but it was like, I don't know, it was a lot of stuff around it, and now I was not really much smarter. What I did as next was I was searching for isolates so that I maybe can create my own one, right? So Flutter isolate. And then I found a nice video from Andrew. And I watched it completely, and then or better just a half of it, because event loop is pretty clear. And after that, I was a bit smarter. And the good thing is we have then the isolate part. And the good thing is he explains also in his video that we have this compute function. Okay, and I want to try this compute function now. So I don't know if this will work right out of the box. It is a bit trial and error. So as I said, this is a learning session. So if there are any problems or if I make mistakes, please apologize me. And if you have better ideas that we can do, just give me a hint. Okay, so how could we do that? What I want to try is creating just a container maybe with a scaffold. And what I have as in my mind is I want to create a small application that has just a timer in the background. And as soon as we press a button, we let the timer run. Then we close off the application. And I want to see if the timer is still running in the background, just to see how we can further with this. Okay, so we have a column. In this column, we will have two things. One is an expanded, which has a child. And in this child, I want to have a button. And here we will have onPressed. So this will, wow, the chat is going active today. Great. Where are we? Can you explain me? And what about Apple? For sure, because I want, okay, perfect. Cool, help each other, that's perfect, thank you. So we have these parts, children, of course. And here we go, expanded and closing that off. And here we have our text that will be our timer that I create in a second. And the second button should be something that we, the expanded is here. So the second thing is a button. No, wait. This is not the button that we want to have here. Here we want to have just the text with the timer. And this gets surrounded by a center widget. And here we want to have the raised button. Okay, so if we would work in a usual application, I would just create a timer for this that I would trigger. And after a while, I would stop that to just see what is the result. But this time it will not be possible, right? Because we want to have these isolates. And now let's go back once more just to take a look into the isolate class. All Dart code runs in an isolate, and code can access classes and values only from the same isolate. That means we can't access inside of an isolate any other isolate surrounding it. Different isolates can communicate by sending values through ports. See receive port and send port. Is reference to an isolate usually different from the current isolate? It represents and can be used to control the other isolate. Is a reference to an isolate, usually different from the current isolate, makes sense. It represents and can be used to control the other isolate. Okay, makes also sense. So how would that look like? I think I open up Pencil for this, just to make it understandable what I'm doing here. So we create a document, and what we have is, for example, 2 complete rectangles, right? So here's one, and the other one will be here, for example. Just kidding, it supports Apple. Perfect. Congratulations. All right, so that would mean we have here an isolate, and we would have here an isolate. And both of them don't know anything from the other. The only thing is we can have in one isolate like a reference to the other one. And this gives us the option to understand what happens there. So these two will send each other messages, and I think these messages will run through these ports, so receive port and send port. The spawning isolate receives an isolate object representing the new isolate when the spawn operation succeeded. I make that a bit bigger. I think it's easier to read for you guys, but of course the link is also easy to find, so just search for it. All right. Pause capability has no effect. The isolate object provided by spawn measure. All right. Okay, so how can we use that actually? And what has the compute function with us? So Flutter compute, there needs to be also an API, right? I hope. It's a property. So we have a future, that's something returns, a function of that, compute callback. It spawns an isolate, run callback on the isolate, passing it message, and eventually return the value returned by callback. So that means we get even an answer from this compute. That is amazing. That means we can send something inside, like a message, and wait till the callback comes back. This is useful for that takes longer than a few milliseconds. In our case, maybe even minutes, right? Because we want to have a timer. Consider for tasks that will only take a few milliseconds, take the scheduled task. Okay, so it needs to be a larger action that we want to do here. So Q is the type of message that kicks off the computation. That will be this one. And R is the type of that is returned. Okay, so these are the types of the computation. Whoa, what happened? Oh. It's so loud. Thank you, Hamish. All right. So this is that. Okay. Okay. So what we can do is we can just try this compute for now. Let's see how this would look like. Do we have in this parse JSON? Maybe there is a good example. So parse photo seems to be a function, I'm assuming, and response body, and there is a fetch of that. So how does it look like when we search for parse photo? Yeah, this is just an execution here. I can't see message section in your, okay. Whew. Cool. So how would that look like here? We have our home screen, and in our home screen we have now that onPressed. And this onPressed would now execute the computation, right? So can we use that just like that? Auto import, yep, that's fine. And now we can call that. No, we have to create it. And the first thing that we want to do is here comes the method inside that we want to execute, right? And the second parameter is the response body. What is response body? It's just any answer from that. Use the compute to run in a separate isolate, and response body is just a second. I want to understand what happens here and also make it a bit bigger. So this response body seems to be the parameter that we want to give into the function. Right, so parse photos is actually, if we search for that, parse photos. Where do we have that? So this is where we call it here. So as you can see, parse photos will return us a list of photo, but it takes a string of response body. And this will how it works. So the first thing is the function itself that we will have. And the last thing is just the the parameters. So what does it says? 2 positional are expected, but found 1. Okay, so it needs a second one. Interesting. Okay, so we have the compute callback, the message. All right. So what we will try is I will just give inside null. Let's see what this does. Cannot be assigned to future or dynamic. Okay, so this one needs to be await, most likely. Let's create a real function for this. So, and let's say this would return a string. Okay, just for now. And here in the compute part, we will have the test function executed. And we don't execute the function, right? It's just the container of the function. And it cannot be assigned to the parameter future or dynamic, of course, because it needs to be a future, right? It needs to be async. And this will be a future of string. Cool. But still it is red. Why? Can't be assigned to future or dynamic. Function null. Okay, still not completely happy with this at the moment. So how does it work? Use the compute function to run parse in a separate isolate. Hey Hamish, how can I help you? Okay, so we have that parse photos. And as I said, I thought the parse photos is just the function. But why is the response body so important for that? Where's the compute function? Map, JSON decode, compute here. Now we find that parse photos somewhere. Parse photos, here we go. So it is just this method. What do I don't see here? Is there any mistake at the moment? So do I have to pass something in? Yes, okay, so now it works. So if the message, the parameter, is correct, it seems to work. Yes, so what Hamish is referring to, I added to Flutter explained.live into the loyalty shop some additional features down here. So you will have down points on the left side that you get by just staying in the stream. And on the right side, there are some things that I offer you as a gift if you have enough points. So for example, for 50 points, you get like an early access to our newest blog entry. It could be maybe interesting for you. Cool. But back to our topic. So we call this method now in the background, right? So compute is running that in the background. The question is now, what would happen if we close the app down in the meantime? So if we are saying we have this test function, and what I would like to do is creating a timer for that. I think that's reasonable. So we would have a timer. I think it was a timer or not. Yes, start async equals a new timer. So how would that work? I think the timer has some cool APIs, so let's look. Timer has a callback and a duration. Perfect. So the duration we just have here. And in this duration, we have to set now the seconds, minutes, and so on. So I will give it a good minute, just because I think my app to close it down and let's give it a minute. And the callback is just nothing at the moment. Or can I? Yeah, wait. I have that timer. The timer gives me a callback. Can I get something like, I have to check how I get something back from the timer. Start. Timer 3 seconds, start timeout. The timer in that case is not even in the stateless, it's even far further away. It's in its own isolate at the moment. So as you can see, it is just a stateless widget, which then calls this compute. So it creates its own Dart instance, and then it puts that into the function down here. So it is completely Dart, and yes, it would work in the stateless. So we have that timer. The question is if everything is working like I expect in that isolate. That is something that I don't know. We have to test that. But more interesting is now, what I would like is something like, I don't know, maybe we can just print that stuff here. So give me every second the timing. Timer dot, no, not tick, that makes no sense. Do we get a value from that? Timer. So the timer has a callback, which is unfortunately a void callback, so we don't get any information. The code is after the given duration. Okay, so this is the last information. So here we know exactly when we are done. So what we can do is just printing finished. And how can we test that now? Because what absolutely will happen is now when we run this, of course it will finish in the meantime, but the question is now, will it really finish after 1 minute or not? But this is also something that we have to test. I don't know. So we have that timer, we do that. Let's see if this print will happen, even because the isolate is completely separated. It could be that it's also posting something in its own space somewhere. So what I will also do is I will create here a future dot wait. No. Future dot delayed. Here we go. Duration also with a minutes. 1, just to make sure that I get 100% a callback. Should I change it to seconds? Okay, let's seconds. And let's have like 15 seconds. I hope this is enough to switch back to the application. Maybe you can send the message to the other isolation. Thank you, Mohammed, for your help. The method to the other isolation. I could try that, yes. I'm just not sure how. Is it just a return statement? It could be, right? But the problem is if I just return it, I need like something inside of here, right? And the problem is this, if this is a callback, I will not get anything back. Even but I can do something like this. Can I not make future await or wait for it or something? With that I get a callback, but here like you mean timer periodic? But the timer periodic is also just giving me a callback, right? If I return a callback, I will not get anything. Is it right? So if I use the periodic, I still have here just a callback that happens every second or so, I think. If we take a look into it, we have a callback of the timer. Zone current unequals, okay. Yeah, but it will just have a callback itself. So if we return that, we will not get that back into our own instance because we need it actually here, right? That we can then print the result, for example. So that would be the idea behind. So this periodic will not necessarily help us, I think. I would like to have a future that we wait for. I wait like, no, this will not work. Future.delayed. And what I can do, of course, what I'm doing here. So, and duration is seconds, 15. and we just say await because it's asynchronous, right? So we will wait anyway. Future string, fetch user order, future delayed, duration 2 seconds, large latte. Yes, something like that. Exactly. We have the callback then in that case, large latte. The problem with that is that these callback, if we return something here inside, we will not get the answer. So what I will do is I will just wait now here. This is enough because now we wait 15 seconds, right? Just cool. And then we print, or better, we return a value like hello world. And what we also can do is the timer. Instead of this, we can just say we return the timer dot, can we get there a toString or something? Maybe this will work, where we get the timing. Ah, no, there we don't get the timing. Okay, let's just start by returning anything, just to see what happens actually with our app. Maybe the whole thing is not working even. And here in that compute, we say print and surrounding the whole thing. Okay, if everything works well, we have to await for this, I think. No? Yes. So we will wait for that. The only problem that I see is that app getting recreated. That's interesting. So because the app is getting rebuilt, most likely this part will be getting lost, but we will have to look. I don't know. Okay, so now let's run something. Oh, there was a lot of stuff. Restart, change this, change the device. I will take the emulator. So this could take a while. I'm sorry for that already. In the meantime, we can talk a little bit. So have you ever done that with the background stuff so far? Or is it the first time that you hear about it? Revenue kit sounds also very interesting. I don't know. The isolate should be running in the background. So what this is meaning, I'm not absolutely sure yet. I think this is also something we have to discover right now, Stefan. So isolate on background or Flutter isolate app sleeping. Just the case doesn't actually have to do with the background code. Overrunning code in the background is something discouraged from the mobile operation systems. Oh, geez. Okay. Oh, that's an answer at least. That's something. But this was in 2017, so it's quite old, right? So maybe there's already something new. 2017, 2019 sounds better. Work manager. You can use the Android as a text string. So you want to have your... I think it could be easier to run the stuff on the server. Yeah, that's true. But how would you do something like a step counter, for example? If your app is in the background, you want to execute code, right? So you have to, for example, have it access to these sensors that tracks your movement or not. So if you would run it on a server, you would not get these infos, or you have to send it all the time to the server. Hey man, why my name shows red background? Ah, that's just for you, Emish. So whenever someone writes writes your name, then automatically you get the info. See this, bro. Hey, so true. Bhagwat, how are you? Yes, a stream. Yeah. Yeah, it's always a bit tricky if you learn something on the stream, I think, because that, yeah, it's bad for me because I have to say I don't know anything. But it's even hard for you guys, I can imagine, because yeah, you don't get directly a result, right? I can't explain it like, okay, this is working like this and let's go. And I think my emulator has some issues at the moment. I don't know why. I had that the last time also already in the stream, so maybe this is the time where I have to fix it. Sorry for that. So what I will do now is, whoops, getting a lot of stuff. I just want to kill my virtual device once completely. So I wipe and make after that a cold reboot. And I hope this should help. Oh, so it seems we have a complete different problem. That's at least good information. So cold boot now is already running. Okay. And where? Ah, here we go. That looks better. Okay, so we close that again, and my computer goes to the rocket. Yep. It's a bit too much for him. Why is that now a separate screen? Sorry for that. I just want to get rid of this desktop here. Way better. To publish an app to, no, you don't need one. You can do it with something like CI/CD from CodeMagic, for example. They provide you all the necessary steps. So if you have Android only Flutter app, you can run it through the CI/CD from CodeMagic, and after that it rebuilds your app also with iOS devices. The only problem with that is that you can't test it actually, so you have to hope that everything is working. Oh, Mohammed, I think you will come in the same problems that I always have. So could you send me that example via Twitter maybe? That would be fantastic. So my Twitter handle would be the Flutter EXP. Don't know. Yeah, I will share the link as soon as I get it from Mohammed or Mahmoud, because the problem is I can't, or somehow I don't know how to get people to send some links in the chat. I don't know why it's so bad. All right. So we have the timer. If I click it, we see we have a spawn running here in the call stack, if you take a look. So that's pretty cool. That works already. So if we wait now 15 seconds. I think CI/CD from CodeMagic is 500 build minutes for free in the month, so it shouldn't be too expensive. Oh, cool! And we get both. We get even the string that has happened here inside the printing. So it takes the same terminal, which I really like, and the anything is working. Obviously, this is now just inside of the app. So what I will do now is I trigger the timer once more, and I'm pressing now the get off part. And now let's take a look in the debug console after this is running through if I get the callback or not. Yes, that's true, Hamish. In the long run, Mac is better for this stuff. Great, so even if the application is not online, we get the information. That's pretty awesome, I think. Now the question is, this is now happening when the application is still there, right? So we have that in the background. But if I'm pressing now timer and I kill the app completely, okay, the call stack is getting dead. So if we close the app completely, we lose the access of that. That is pretty good to know, I think. So at least we have some kind of control of the device, right? So we have the possibility to send something in the background and leave the application running. I think the biggest problem will be if you close the application completely down. That makes a lot of sense, I think. And that's already good enough, I think, for a use case like that timer, right? So because we can do here in anything inside. So for example, if we use a periodic, let's say periodic timer, and instead of doing, or better we use that, wait a second. My Twitter account doesn't exist. What? Don't tell me that. I'm long time in Twitter. So many requests. Monsieur Rabi, perfect. This is the Flutter service. So I post that here right now. And the other one is this one. And this is something else. So I will take a look later to that. Cool. But what do we have here actually? Up. So we have these parts. This I can close now. So what do we have? So what is the question? How do I run in the background even if with the screen off? Short answer is no, it's not possible. Ooh, that sounds terrifying. I have to observe the different behavior for the display going to sleep. The following code will help you understand the different states of a Flutter app on Android tested. Okay. So framework revision engine, but this is also from 2017, or it's pretty old. Yeah, it's already 2017. Okay. On deactive is also existent. Interesting. App lifecycle state. Okay. That looks nearly like our example, or? I mean, they want to have a timer here and they counted it up inside of the application. When launching the app, the value timer count is... I need to make that a bit bigger, sorry for that. So. So is incremented every 3 seconds. Okay. A text below the counter will show changes. Okay. So here the changes are there. So we pause, resume, and we pause, resume. So it is nearly the same like we did, or? Timer counter value is 1. Return to Flutter app. Timer counter value 3. Flutter app resume value 7. Okay, so when switching to another app or when pressing the power button to turn off the screen, the timer continues to run. But when pressing the back button while the Flutter app has the focus, the activity gets destroyed and with it the Dart isolate. Okay. Flutter app lifecycle and Android lifecycle. For the Flutter widget layer, only the pause and resume state are exposed. Okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah, that sounds right. Okay, so what I read so far, or at least from Radio Bitter, seems that we have some issues here, at least with some, as I said, with a full close of the application seem to destroy the Flutter application completely. But we have still the possibility with pause and resume, so that we get at least some information back, which is pretty good, at least, right? So we would be able to make that actually, or? So we have that lifecycle matcher that we don't need. We have this part, but still that would mean that we don't have any chance to, for example, have a step tracker, a correct one, that maybe runs offline or separate. So we would need to write a plugin for that. And what that would means that we create like native code, create a Flutter app, but write native code that is getting injected. Okay, so but for this, I can just copy that same thing here, more or less. Flutter services method channel, a named channel for communicating with platform plugins. Yes, I think that sounds about right. Did I misread that somewhere? Was that in part of it? So switching between app process, that's good. Flutter services method channel, a named channel for communicating with platform plugins using asynchronous method calls. Exactly, but where did you found that? Is that some part of here? So here's even a package recommended. Here we have how do you run tasks in background in Flutter? There are a couple of things you could try. Ah, this is from Andrew, perfect. One is to have the Kotlin function do its work in background thread using the methods Android offers for the async task. For example, you could use the method channel to handle communication between the JVM and Dart. And have the Kotlin code send the message when it's done. Thank you, Mohammed. Another possibility is to use a Dart isolate to multi-thread on the Dart side. This is what I tried, or not? You'd create an isolate, make the call to Kotlin. Ah, all right, and then we would create the Kotlin call. And your other Dart code could asynchronously wait for it to be finished in the UI thread while still running the event queue. The Flutter team has an example of that, how that might work. Ah, this is the example that you talked from. That is fantastic. So I make that a bit bigger again, that we can read together. Okay, now let's see what we have here. But that would mean we would have more like that, or this is it now just the isolate itself. Here we have a calculator, okay, on progress listener, some stuff. Number of items, notify interval. And they work now with this receive port and request port, right? That we had in the beginning. Run calculation, load string, data JSON, okay. We call an animation controller, okay. So it seems like this example could be usable from us or not. So what would happen if I just say I take the whole example here and want to run that from my application? So this is a service layer. The isolate example widget. Is that somewhere here inside? Layers? No. Oh, it's even part of the Flutter gallery? Oh, hey there. Welcome to the family. Yes, Stefan, absolutely right. But what I could imagine is that if we send it or pass it to Kotlin, for example, and we have it running in the native code, and we would say something like, please keep it in your life cycle, then we could kill it maybe. But even then that would make no sense, or that would be also very bad for the layers. I'm not sure with that. So, but what is isolate example widget? Didn't I see that? So there's the library, rendering, service, main.dart, layers. I think it was under services, isolate.dart. This was the example, and here's the example widget. Okay. So we have a state here with all the stuff inside, like the animation calculation, right? Idle and start. This is the status and the label. And what do we have? You mean that we can... I should make that bigger. That's not what I want. Dispose, build. We create our animation here. Okay. Opacity, raise button, handled, button press, progress. Update state, update state. Calling the calculation manager, stop and start. Absolutely, Stefan. I think that's what isolates are for, actually. So if you have like an API base, you want to call that, I think this will work the same way. The only thing that we could maybe do is like reinitialize the state. So when you close the app completely and you restart it, that it starts there where you lost it or something like that. Okay. So after that success from this morning, I'm a bit disappointed that it is not that perfect. It would be great that there is a better solution, but still. If we have that part. So anyway, what I could do is I just take the whole code or not when I'm reading all of that. And that should work, actually. At least something should work. So that was my intention or my idea behind. So we have the update state, we get results, we make a set state, the calculation manager, where is this coming from? It is a calculation manager, okay, not really helpful. In the comment. Main app widget, the apps shows a simple UI that allows control of the back UI as well as the animation to illustrate. And when you write an app without an UI, I think that shouldn't be a problem, or not? If you work anyway without an UI, it's just Dart, right? So with that, you anyway have isolates. It is an isolate for itself, right? So this, yes. That UI does not block while this computation is performed. So this is perfect for some parts. So the calculation manager, where it comes from. This is the isolate itself. So the whole part on the top is the computation manager, calculator manager. Okay, I see. Calculate state, calculate message, calculate, yeah, here's the manager. So we get like a progress listener and result listener. How to create apps without UI. It's like the Dart coins that we created, right? You just say pub create. Yes, and let the isolate set data to the primary app. Yes, exactly. But this is nearly the same like we did, or the only difference is that it keeps track of the progress. Because if we are taking a look back here, with that compute, we do nothing else than creating our own isolate, right? That's the good thing. So that's meaning if I'm clicking that, the only thing is that I have to track now is the time that is elapsed in the meantime. I believe, at least. So what I could do is make this a stateful widget, and let's have here a string with the timer, or with the timing, which would be, for example, empty string. And this timing can be used at this point here. Oops. Timing. I will give it some style, just make it a bit bigger. Now I can't read myself anymore. Here we go. So text style, I have a size of 36, for example. Now everything is a bit bigger. Yeah, it's an empty string, obviously. So what we'll have is 0, 0, 0, 0, something like this. Hey Ashish, nice to see you. Your reference in in chat is different than others. Well, I'm sorry, I don't promote enough my live streams. It's because I'm always nervous about them. So at timing is the text. It should be visible. Why is it not? So go hot reload. Because it's stateful widget. Here we go. Okay. So now when I'm pressing my button, I would like that this timer is updated all the time whenever something changes. Is that possible? No, because if the app is getting down. Good question. I don't know. So what would happen if I give timing inside here? So, and when we run this, I will use the periodic. And what I will do is I will just update the timing all the time. Most likely I don't have then. Yeah, the app has to run. And additionally, I think if I want to set state all the time, how should it work if the stuff is not there? So I have to rebuild everything at the end. Okay. See this, bro? I'm not sure. What should I see? Okay, so we have still issues that we can't solve, or not that easily at least, sadly. No, the links are still not postable, unfortunately. So if you want to send me links, please coming to Twitter. I think that's possible. Thank you, Rabi. I will check. And here we go. Flutter timer builder. Oh, great. So I take that and bring it down. On schedule, periodic, or dynamically generated time events. Okay, so timer rebuilder, periodic. Oh, okay, so I can just reuse that. But the problem with that is I can't let it run in an isolate, right? Ooh. And then the solution passes the question we try to solve. Link still postable. I send it to. Sorry, I have to quickly go through the chat. Sorry, what do you mean, Stefan? I'm not absolutely sure. So this would be great if we just want to have a timer, right? That's fantastic. So if we want up there a timer. Yes. And give the end time to the back. Yeah, that would be an option, that we just say something. So after you are finished, send it to the server. That could be a possibility. So in that computation, we would do something like, okay, we waited now, our computation is done, send it to a backend. But I think what's, and is it possible to, we could even do something like, send it to shared preferences, or so we could use shared preferences in that place. Well, so maybe we have a solution for Android even today. For Android today. So when we're coming here to pub.dev, and I just use now the shared preferences. Here we go. Now at Firebase. The problem is I don't want to start with Firebase. Oh, else we have 1 hour. Maybe I can do that. But let's think about it. Let's first keep with that and try to keep it as easy as possible. And then let's see if this is working. And then coming to the next harder part. Okay, you know what? I can really do that. So let's check it out. I'm going to this part. We can do it. All right, so let's make a poll for that. Add a poll. Title. Okay, so what I will do is I will have the question, which database will we use? Or should we use? And then I will give the option Firebase. Command Firebase. And we will have SQL Flight, I think. SQ Flight. Then we would have, of course, shared preferences. But I say just shared so that you don't have to write so much. The native database would be the SQL Flight. No, sorry, the shared preferences or not? Hive? Okay, why not? If I'm getting crazy already, then let's go. That is absolutely correct, Ashish, and I'm absolutely with you, but I will do whatever the community wants. So now let's try if we get a poll done. All of them are working absolutely fine, and actually for this minor problem I would really say, okay, let's just use the good old shared preferences in usual cases, but let's have some fun today. In the worst case we take the biggest database. That's no worries, Stefan. It's great to see you around even if I'm talking all the time English. Cool. So what we can do now, I don't know if you ever have participated in such a poll, is you can now write exclamation mark and then you go with writing the name of the vote. So whatever you wanted to vote. So something like, how can I say that? Use vote and then you say something like, for example, Hive. Let's be crazy. That would be like your vote today. Yeah, I see yours. We have 1 for Firebase at the moment. Now 50-50 with Hive. So give it 5 seconds. In the meantime, because is it SQL? I don't know. I think I did it with SQL Flight. Sorry, Stefan. And instead of vote shared preference, it would be shared. So you get the, I don't know if you can see the bot up there. I maybe write it once more. And then just keep it with that. So use exclamation mark vote, and then you have the 4 different options. And in the meantime, I will quickly go to the bathroom. So we will see us in a second. So. Oh, sorry. So, okay, so where do we stand? I take a look and what has changed. Oh, it's great to have some fun with you guys. It's perfect. Hey, Daniel. And where are the polls? Here we go. So currently we have a head-to-head with shared preferences, Hive, and Firebase. And Daniel, you have to do exclamation mark vote and then shared. Then it will work. Same for Stefan. If you want to have SQL flight, you have to make exclamation mark vote and then something. Something like this. Okay, let's give that another 2 seconds. In the meantime, I can try something else and just have a look here. If we find a package that has something to do with the work, how does it called? Here we go. Finally, some votes. Revenue. No, what I wanted to do is isolates. So here we go. Here we have also a utility class for the related isolates. That's cool. Interesting. Oh, I hope you can read everything fine with your phone. Okay, the weird thing is it seems Hive has won the poll, which sounds crazy because I don't have any clue about it. So I will complete that now. So let's see if we get the answer, if everything works with my tooling. That means you can no longer do that. And Hive was the most voted. Okay, so let's take a look into Hive. Why not? What is Hive database and how does it work? And Flutter. Fast, enjoyable, secure NoSQL database. Perfect. Okay, so we have a package for that, and it is a lightweight and blazing fast key value database written in pure Dart. That's perfect. So close, blah, 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 getting started, quick start. Here we go. Add to your project, Hive and Hive Flutter. All right, this is something I can do very easily. There's a Hive, build generator, that's cool. That means what we can start with is going to the pubspec.yaml, and as always we add these, whoops, sorry for that. I think I can make that one, I can close that one off in the meantime because it will take a longer time till we have that Hive in the part. And if we have that, we will have the def dependencies also, which is important. Sorry, Mohammed. Unfortunately, the poll was winning for Hive, so I can't go against the democracy. That would be really bad for me. Yeah, that's no problem. We will save it as a string then later. That's no problem. So what do we have to do? Initialize Hive, init Flutter, okay. With a valid directory in your app files, you can also provide a subdirectory, okay? So we will take that and Hive init for not Flutter, okay. So let's go for main.dart, and we have to go on the top here because I assume we have to do it right away. So whenever the application is starting up, we get everything that we need, and init Flutter is red. Isn't defined for the type Hive interface. Okay. It seems, has something changed here maybe? Okay, let's just try init. How does it work? We just give the path and there seems no init anymore. Oh, unfortunately, no, you had to vote like something like this, so that would be the right vote. Sorry. The next time you will know, and then we can have shared preferences, because it was really a head-to-head race. Sorry, everyone. So go, this is that. Okay, so we have that init, and now where's init Flutter? And not necessary in the browser. Okay, Hive by giving it a home directory. So we have to specify the path. And for the path, we will of course use the path package from Flutter. Do we have it here? No. So path any. So I'm pretty lazy, I just take here any. Of course you would take a sophisticated version that you don't make any mistakes in your productive app, right? And here inside we can now use path by import a path, and we call that path dart. Cool. And what I will do is inside of my lib folder, I will create another folder that I call just db. Fair enough. Restart the poll. You really want to take the time. So I will do that as path, that we have it directly work here. And what I can do is, I think there is not only absolute, there will be also, what is the other one? Relative path. And now I can do something like ./db or ./libdb, I think. That should work. Hopefully. Vote coffee. Oh, that's true. I need coffee. Somehow I really need a coffee machine besides, but it needs to be very silent that you don't hear it all the time. Okay, so now we have our Hive. I give that a variable called Hive. Here we go. And I can do stuff with that, I assume. So like stuff add. No? Unfortunately not. Don't know me. You have crazy ideas, guys. All of your data is stored in boxes. Okay, if you say so, then let's open up a box. Go here, we open a box. Var box, await, Hive. Should we use, is this even returning something? Oh no, it doesn't. So that's of course crap, because if we know that, we don't want to give here something inside. We just have to wait till this Hive is initialized. And because it is anyway void, we can go with that. Sorry, but I will be back in a half an hour. All right, I sent you GitHub example for Hive with Flutter. You did? Jeez, you are really fast. Thank you. I think I'm on that page already, or that is not this one, but this one. Here, and here I have to go back, or else I don't see anything. Exactly. You can use this way: final directory, await path provider, get application directory, Hive init directory path. All right, let's do this way. So what is the name? Final directory. Thank you, Jacques. Jacques Marquet is correct, I hope. My French is still a while ago, but should work like that. Get and I think path provider is also a package, right? So let's go to the pubspec.yaml again and path provider any. Bon appetit. Sorry for that. And here we go, path provider. No. Pub get failed was failing, Hive generator and Flutter test any from SDK version. Oh geez, you're okay. So we have to be more specific with that. Can't just do whatever we want. So any is not a good solution for that. Now let's go to bub.dev and search for what did I say? Path and path provider. Installing, getting the path. Here we go. And the other one was path provider. I think that was a Flutter favorite, if I see that correctly. Here we go. Installing and back to here. So now maybe everything is better, hopefully. Background tasks depend on Flutter. Test any SDK. So he complains about the testing here. Because every version of Flutter test SDK do I something wrong? That's confusing right now. Wait, do I have to put that on top? That has something to do with the path, obviously. All right, so what can we take here that it works? 164. All right, so 164. Let's try this. Ah, no worries. It's cool. Then we learn all something. No worries. I mean, it's also my first time, so. And because every version of Flutter depends on Quiver 213, because Hive generator, Dart X, which depends on Quiver, which on. Okay, now I destroyed something, I think. So where's the problem? Is it because of the Hive generator right now? That would be really bad. Hey, Elias, nice to see you. This is a weird problem of dependencies, and I really hate that. So Hive generator depends on, which depends on Quiver, okay. So then take your Quiver, I don't mind. So import the Quiver. Wait, is that a part? Let's go to the Hive once more and check the installation. And if there is nothing, so do we have the Hive? Yes, exactly, but do you think I just have to increase the SDK version here? No. Yeah, the dependencies have like a dependency, and it needs, for example, up here, it needs Quiver, I think. So I hope that if I'm searching for Hive once more here, and I find Hive Flutter, I find more in the install nodes. No. Examiner, please go. Yeah. That's unfortunate now. So we have the build runner, we have this, we have the Hive. Did it work before when I didn't add the SDK, the path stuff? Or was it already broken? No, we still have the problems here. Hive generator depends on Dart X, which depends on Quiver. Every version of Flutter depends on Quiver 213. Okay. You know what? I will remove the Flutter test for today. Maybe this helps. Here we are. So we remove all the tests and everything's green. By the way, if you ever work like that in your production system, you hopefully get some problems. Exactly, I just wanted to add them because it's anyway running in. Okay, but now we do the path stuff again that we wanted to do in the first place. So we will go here and bring them back, and I remove the tests again. And now the pub.dev should be fine. Beautiful. So now I have to scroll a lot up to find your solution once more. I think here it is. I just copy that down. And let's see, so we have the final directory, we wait for the path provider, and the path provider comes also from an import. Here we go. And I think I say path provider. Good, and now we get the application documents directory, so that should be the main directory in that we are. And then we say Hive init, yes, indeed, but what we will do is we take that directory, I think I can do that here. And was it not the same? Ah, directory path. Okay, all right. So we keep that, remove this. Okay, cool. Whew. All right, back to Hive. We can remove the path in that area, but we still get a box, right? We open a box and we call it a test box. Yeah, I think test box is cool. I call it Flutter explained box just because I can. So we have this box now running, and I assume the box is something where we keep all our information inside, right? So everything from it. And what I can see is we open the box, after that we put something in, and then we print the whole thing. Oh, here's even some video from RezoCoder. That's cool. So if you want to find another cool Flutter channel, RezoCoder is really good. So highly recommend. Cool. We have this and we have the box, and now we can say box.put or something, right? So then we have a key, hello, and the value is world, for example. And now we could get this information. So the question is now is, yeah, Hive should be a singleton, right? So that would mean, if I'm correct, this init initialize the whole Hive part. And then, is it a singleton? Is it an instance? We will see. So we initialize that once. I'm not sure about it, but what we can do is now inside that part where we want to have it, we can, here in the compute, we could access the Hive in that part here, right? Or not? Put, for example. Ah, no, we need the box, of course. Wait, here. So this is the way. Okay. And this one is in the timer, and I think we can't wait in the timer. Can we? What is our goal actually? Why do we need a database? We wanted to save the database variable inside of Hive. Why? We compute everything, and after we restart the application, we will automatically write that in the Hive database. So we read all the information from Hive. Is that correct? Did I remember that correctly? Is that the reason why we use it? To put the end time. Okay, so this would be the end time. That would mean we will have here datetime.now dot not to string, just in milliseconds since epoch. I think that should be saved here. And now we will have here inside our milliseconds. Okay, it's what's not too complicated. It sounds familiar, but now we have a real DB, right? That's pretty awesome. And restart, I read the Hive box. Exactly. So whenever we close up the application completely, or better, whenever we initialize this state here again. So is it here? Yes, exactly. So whenever we initialize this state here, in its state, we would then ask this box for, can we get? Yeah, perfect. When you get the new time on appending the app, you calculate the delta time. Okay, but for now, I just want to look if the Hive stuff is working. No worries, it's all good. When you get the new time on appending the app, opening the app, you calculate the delta time. Yes, that could work. But for now, I just want to get the information back. So what we'll have here is just the time, the timer end time. And I think what we will need is to get the whole thing here. And this will be an integer. So this is our milliseconds. And here what we can do is print the no, we want to have the date time to string. Okay, so what I will do is the following. We can construct a string, or I can do that easier, but the first thing that we have to do is datetime dot from milliseconds since epoch, milliseconds inside. And now what we have to do is date, I think we have date format, if I have that correct in mind. Date time dot format, no. How was it? So this gives us back a real date time, right? So this is a datetime D, which contains all of that. I can make that a variable. I think it's easier. Cool. And this D I can format by format. Dart. The Intel library. Yeah, that was the trick. Okay, so we need the Intel library for that. What I want to use it. Or do we need that? No, I think that's too much. So what I want to do is the timing is a string where we say something like d dot hours cool. So, and I think I have to interpolate it correctly. Hour. Then we have the d dot minutes, and the last thing would be d dot seconds. Okay, and after that we have set state done. Do we have to call set state anymore? I'm not sure, but I think I can clean that one up, right? On the other hand. So, and the worst thing is if we don't get anything from this box get, right? What happens if this is null? If this is the case, the milliseconds will be empty, so null. So if milliseconds equal null, then we don't do all of that stuff. We just say else timing equals the default value. Hey Sensor, I hope I don't do crazy stuff right now and you expect something else from me. So where do we stand actually? So we have 18 viewers. That is absolutely fantastic and a new record. So thank you very much for everyone who's joining today. That's crazy. And what I'm doing at the moment, I'm working with Hive the first time in my life. I got somehow pushed into it. And what we want to try is to catch the data. And what I'm seeing right now is that we await here inside of an init state. And what will that happen is that we throw an error. So we have to do something like, correct, Ravi, perfect, should be unequal null. That's even worse, thank you. Thank you. Okay, but still we take all of that and we need to create a function like init timing. Zack. And this one is a method down here. And here we do all that stuff. And because a method can be asynchronous, this is happening. But now this will fail. So we don't need that actually. We will have that as a default value. And what we also have to do is now set state. Oops. Close enough. Voila. Yeah, Krishna, how can I help you? Which is the query? How can I make you happy? So now we have this part, this is running, and here is very important that we get this 0, 0 back, or else we will get a null pointer on that area. Whew. All right. So I hope you enjoy the whole thing that I'm doing here, even though that, yeah, I am pretty sure that we will not manage to get a background process that happens like we expected, or that we get like even a step tracker or something like that. At least not with the idea that we had in the first place, that we will create everything from ground up. But I think we can have with that already a lot of fun with these compute things. What is the next step? Next steps. Hey, Mordrandir, I think I saw you a long time ago. Have you not been one of my first streams where I made like Dart, the Dart Coens, or no, the Dart, what was the other thing? I'm not sure anymore. It is easier than shared preferences, really? So it is a real database. This is what I really like. So I think there should be some file now somewhere from that Hive, and when I start it up. But I'm not sure if it's easier. Let's see. Okay, so this is all working. Most likely this will look a bit different than this zero syntax that we have here. So this will be a problem, most likely. Because if the hour, for example, is 1 p.m., then we don't have a 2-digit number and it looks a bit weird. Same for the minutes and the seconds, but that's all right for today. We can live with that. This null check, we can do something. Yeah, we just don't do it. Yeah, that's fine. So let's start the application and let's see if something works. I will take the iOS simulator just to try if the computation is working there exactly the same. And we can use the Hive there also the same way. And then let's see how it turns out. 20 viewer, jeez. You make me nervous. The complete idea is to calculate the time the app was closed. Okay, so this is our idea. Thank you. Finally, we get the idea. So at the moment, we only save the time. So we have to get like, why set state is not doing anything. Set state don't have to do anything. It marks our current widget as rebuild. So it marks it as dirty and it rebuilds it. So you don't have to put anything inside. It's just, if you take a look into it, then you find down here, the mark needs rebuild, and it creates the build method once more in the next frame. Hey Shiva, nice to see you around. The complete idea is to calculate the time. Yeah, so I think I focus a bit on that part. I write that somewhere as a to-do because I will forget that 100% again. Flutter error. If you are running an application, yep, that happens from time to time. So you just copy this part, I think, and you just put that in front of the main, in front of whatever you do here, and you release the debugger. Is it still broken? Yeah, cool. So kill it completely and restart. Yep. Make it a bit smaller. Or make the different, make it a bit bigger. Thank you, Ravi. Really looking forward to hear that. If you have any feedback, if I can improve somehow, if the voice is too bad or you can't see anything correctly, just give me a hint. I heard yesterday the first time that some people can't read my font and so on. So I increased the font size this time, all the time. So hopefully this is better. And also this here I have now, but I don't use it, which is very bad. So remember me on that. So if I press now timer, we have that background task running. And it should save everything into the Hive database. And whenever we rebuild this this widget, it should okay, it crashes at the moment. You need to initialize Hive or provide a path to store the box. Okay. So do I have to do this Hive stuff all the time at the beginning? This part here? So most likely we would create something for that, like creating a singleton out of that. But for now I just put that here and also here, because else both will break. Close it off again. I think that should do the trick now. Let's see. Sorry, I have to stretch a bit. during our wait time. So, running Xcode. Or do I miss right now something? On the end will be timer, time app closed, new timer, complete timer. Okay, so that will be inside of this test function, right? So what we need is still the information. Okay, wait, one step after another. I wanted to write here some to-dos. And I think I will copy exactly what Stefan writes right now so I can remember that easier. Exactly, almost bedtime, same for me. No. Okay, this is done. So we have the timer, close, complete timer, that's good. And now what's next step? So I'm using this for init, I'm back. Yeah, so init Flutter, the problem was that when I have this init, I can't make init Flutter. It doesn't exist in my case. Did I miss anything? Do you think in the pubspec.yaml I need to add something? I have that Hive Flutter here. So I thought it should work here. Let's see. Okay, so I have to import it as, yeah. Thank you. Perfect. So, no, Hive, and then Flutter, no? What is the name? Flutter Hive? Hive Flutter. Okay, I take all that stuff here. And let's try that. So, and with this, we have now in the main function the possibility to receive that init directory, and we go back to our main.dart, where we say instead of init, we say init Flutter. Look at that, so beautiful. Okay, that makes so much more sense. And we take the directory and we bring it also up to that part. This directory can be gone and this Hive can be gone. You open the box, yeah, but then I have to pass the box everywhere, right? I hoped that this Hive here is a singleton, and with that we will have access automatically to the open box. At least I hope that. Else we have to send the box everywhere to all the widgets down below. I think it would be great with the it would be great if the Hive part up here would be a singleton, and else we could do that with a provider package, I think, where we add everything inside. Okay, we have this now. That is solved. This is solved. Where's my? Here we go. Okay, we restart everything just in case. Rebuild, and let's wait a second. I sent to Flutter and Hem still on the Hive. We are still on Hive, making multiple hub. Yep, so thank you, Rabbi, for the link. We'll add that here. So I'm using Hive to make simple CRUD in HiveDoc about open box. We can declare like var box. Yep. Oh, that's pretty cool. So if you want to have multiple boxes, you can have that as a box list and then save that as a, whoops. You need to initialize Hive or provide a path to the store box. Actually, I hope that I'm doing this, but it seems I'm doing not. Or do I have to maybe do it here a second time because we are in an own isolate? Could that be a trick? Live on Hive, absolutely. No, yep, exactly. I got the links right now from him via Twitter. I add them also here. I'm sorry that we can't pull them here inside. Okay. So where are we? We want to open up this directory in the init Flutter. So can we use the whole thing inside of our isolate once more? So maybe this helps. No, it breaks at that time. Init timing. Where's init timing? Oh, this is. That's unfortunate. So we have that open box, we get the box, but unfortunately it doesn't work like I expected to. So that's also right. So we have the directory, we get the path, so it should do it now. What do you think actually for the Flutter days? I'm all the time thinking if I should make something on Flutter days or if I just... Maybe a timer cannot await. Where's the await? The timer? Down here. This will work. And this one isn't. This is just a callback of that timer. So whenever 15 seconds are derated, then this thing will happen or getting executed. At the moment. So it is just a background task. Where's my... Here. Okay, so let's restart the thing and hope the best. Build errors exist in the... Okay, cool. No worries, it's all good. I mean... Windows and Live. I hope that we get like a webcam or something in the future, but at the moment I still have to save some money to get all that stuff together, because to make the Windows PC running and up and running with webcam and everything, we really need some equipment. So you would be interested in a Flutter Day stream or something like that? I was absolutely not sure. So I think there are so many good speakers around, and also Mahtab held a speak. So she's invited for a speech and she's very nervous. So I hope you will help her. Because she will have a talk with the GDG it's still broken. Hint error, you need to initialize Hive or provide a path to store the box. So I will send actually the link then when she has her talk, she got it confirmed and everything. It's really amazing. I tell her not to be nervous, but I can't promise anything. She already tries and trains and everything. It's really good what she do. The Flutter Day will be at the 25th of July, I think. And so we have still 19 minutes left or 18 minutes left. And I would like to solve a problem here. And somehow nothing works with that Hive, which is unfortunate. Not July, so wait. Let me Google that. Not that I say something wrong. It's this week or this month. So it should be soon. Here, 25th of June. So sorry for everything. False information, false claims. No, it's the 25th of June. And the best thing is, as soon as the June is done, as soon as the Flutter Days in June are done, then the best thing happens, because then Hack 20 starts. And I still make a lot of advertising for Hack 20, because this year we have great themes. I think there was a Twitter post, what they have posted is that the theme this year is like saving the world, and the second part is cyberpunk, I think. That's pretty cool. So, cyberpunk, I think, was the second theme. I'm not sure anymore. But that was pretty cool, and to solve there some problems over the weekend will be amazing. So I'm also looking forward. But my idea, and I don't know that, is I'm as channel, yes, but still I'm feeling not can provide as much value to everyone that I can take the time of other speakers of the Flutter community, because there are really a lot of them and they have great talks prepared. But yeah, let's see what we will do. So init timing, we have that. We wanted to have this. The Hive is not working. Why is Hive not working? We await that Hive open box. Is that directory path maybe not correct? So what? Application directory dir path init. And we do that with the directory path. That's... Is there anything that I absolutely don't see, that I make maybe a big mistake that should be easy to solve? I feel a bit stupid right now. Make a breakpoint. That sounds like a good and feasible idea. So we will go to the Hive dot. It's this part, right? That's break. So let's make a breakpoint. And up here there's nothing, so that's fine. So let's run the whole application once more. What is this now? Okay. I can also do this print, but the problem is it doesn't return anything. It's a weird problem, I have to admit. It's really weird. Okay, so you need to initialize Hive or provide a path to store the box. Sorry, not so often that I work with... where can I press debug on? Is it this one? So this is the problem, that I don't work so much with Visual Studio Code. So now how do I run that whole thing in debug? Chrome attachment, Flutter launch, attach to device. Nope. Is it up here? No. So we were so successful this morning with the dark cones, but this is not... With init Flutter you don't have to pass the path. Really? Thank you, Jack. That's... If this is solving the problem that way, that would explain so much. Yeah, that looks... It's a subdirectory, but of course we don't have that because we are in a Flutter mobile development, so it needs to know itself where it saves its data. Okay, so... Okay, and here we have the second one. Yep, all right. Hamish, I think the emojis are ANSI code at the end, so these are two numbers representation, so that's why most likely they will take 2 spaces. And Shiva, yeah, I think that init Flutter thing from Chuck solved the issue. But thank you. Let's see if this is working. So we run it in Flutter. Have our IS running. Yep, where are we? Here. Don't know, but I think it's the same problem like in, I think on Twitter, if you write an emoji, then you have a multitude of letters. I think I do the initial call, right? So here we go. Now we are on the breakpoint. Happy days, go for it. Hive to provide a... You need to initialize Hive or provide a path? Okay, you know what? I go back to the Hive docs. Maybe there is something very obvious that I don't see. We get the box. No need in browser. Okay. Here, store objects. Okay, add. That shouldn't be the trick. Ah, I need a wait. No, I have a wait. Ah, I wait here. Okay, so you can see it's my second stream today, and I'm pretty exhausted right now, and my brain don't work anymore like before. So sorry for that. Okay, so we await here for the Hive box for the Hive init Flutter. Do we have it the second time? Yes, so we make also here an await. Or even better, because I assume now it will work correctly, we make that up here and we remove the second time because it's not mandatory anymore. Yeah, I don't want to leave you alone in the meantime, not for the last 10 minutes, but after that we'll get coffee. Thank you, Peter. That is exactly the problem. Rabi is so fast with its links, perfect. So, yep, I add that too. So if you want to know how to debug in Flutter, F5, then yeah. Okay, cool. Wait, I can also show it here. So, and open it up. Oops. Okay, and here we have our application now, and it's running. We don't get an error, which is amazing. And now at least I hope we can save the data inside. So if we take a look into the main and we do all that stuff with box.put and the getter thing, after we have started clean that, we crash the application, obviously. Okay, so it tries to open it up, but we need to initialize it. And now I think we don't come around to just take it once more, because in the isolate, it don't have access to the init part. So most likely that is the reason why it's crashing here. So because the isolate is a creation for its own, right? We have these two separations, and singleton from one isolate will not talk with the singleton from the other. I don't even have water. I'm really bad prepared. So yeah, FN5, so let's press that once. I think I will use that automatically, right? Because it ran into the breakpoint, so. Thank you, Android. Method not found. Meh. What does this mean? Mod reload. Okay, so there is everything going. We run our spawn. It was super fun. It was really exciting, even for me, to have 16 people around. It's like crazy. So thank you very much for joining today. And here's the breakpoint, so we are in it, and I let it release, and we get the error again. What is this now? Native function. Windows set needs. Now I think we have the problem. Ah, interesting. So we will not have access to shared preferences, and we will not have access to Hive in that area, I think. Because I think that isolate is completely outside of everything. So we don't have any access to the parts inside of the main application, inside of that isolate down here. So we have to use a different approach. So where is it, the isolate? Here we have our compute isolate. So that would mean that we can't access, unfortunately, anything that is from the device. So Hive will not work, shared preferences will not work. That means Amish is right, Firebase would be the solution. I think Firebase or a real external web server, so that we have like an API that we can talk through. I think that is not the reason, Emish, because I think we could also use Aqueduct, for example. So if you don't know Aqueduct, it's an amazing tool for Flutter, or better for Dart, because you can create your own multi-threaded Dart server side. And I highly recommend to take a look into it. It is fantastic. Worked with it multiple times, love it. I don't need the isolate, that's correct. I think then we can just pass it through, but yeah. I wanted to try something with isolates, so I did everything today. I tried my best. Didn't work out, so hey Taha, nice to see you around. So you are perfectly to the end of this session today. So what did we do today? What did we try? So we started our whole live stream by trying to compute and creating a how do you call it? We wanted to create our first isolate. So that means an own Dart instance that takes our heavy loading. Then we created a test function for it, which we wrote down here, which should just save the timing duration, how long the time is getting saved till that. So the idea was to end your calculation, timer plus time app closed, new timer, complete timer. So that was the idea that we wanted to solve inside of that isolate, and we wanted to save that in a database, and that came up in the middle of the stream. So we came up with the idea, let's create a Hive database, or better, we had 4 databases, for example, like Firebase, now Hive that we used, and shared preferences. Unfortunately, we learned, and this is very important, an isolate has no access to the device information, so you can't access to the device database like shared preferences or so on. For the calculation, I need to add the lag time. Okay, I will do that, lag time. So, but anyway, we tried it, and I think we came pretty far for all that stuff that we did here. And I'm pretty happy that we made that together, that journey. We learned a lot, I hope. Thank you, Rabi, for all your links. Thank you, Stefan, for working so closely with us. Emish and Shiva, thank you so much for joining. Everyone from you, that helped a lot. Also, who saved me today was, I think, Jacques with his awaiting and also his information with the init Flutter. That helped a lot. So thank you all, everyone, and see you the next time. See ya, guys. Oh, before I forget, because I added also 2 things. You're very welcome, serious guys, all of you. But before I forget, I have there something new that I can add in the chat. Because I got always the questions, hey, when is the next stream? I added the following. If you enter ! next stream, I hope that my Streamlabs will be clever enough to do what I told him. Okay, it seems not to work. Here we go. So you see, I added these things. They have a global cooldown, I think, so they will not just spam all the time. But what you can see is we get the next streams, we get also how long the stream is already active, and so on and so forth. The stream has been active for parameter unavailable. So exactly, start spamming, guys. Perfect. You know how I love it. No, but I think that's something that we can use for the future. And there were a lot of questions regarding this, so I think that should help everyone. Okay, so, but this is it now. Thank you so much. See you the next time. Enjoy the rest of your day and the weekend. And I'm really looking forward to see you soon. See ya.